Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the Let's Talk Thursdays podcast. My name is BrendenPlayz, and we might be doing a bit of a shorter show this week. I tell you what, it's been a very, busy day, I guess you could say, for me. Getting schoolwork done, university work, whatever you want to call it. Assignment due tomorrow, so, look, I don't know about you guys, but when I do an assignment, I leave it to the last minute. I'm one of those people who will do it with 1, 2, 3 days to go. Otherwise, I can't force myself to do it. I need that pressure of, oh shit, I have to get it done on Friday, or I just, I'll do something else. I just got no motivation to do it. So, I've been doing that. So, it's late, and I need to kind of get the show done here today. So we're kind of going to cram in a little bit here, and we're going to get the show done. But we are going to try and cover everything that happened this week, including previewing the upcoming Backlash pay-per-view, and we're going to talk everything about Raw and Smackdown as well. And I actually thought this week in WWE was a little bit better. I think Raw was better than Smackdown this week. I actually thought Raw was pretty decent. Smackdown, unfortunately, Smackdown's just going down and down and down. The ratings are going down as well, so that's disappointing. A few little tidbits as well this week that we'll get into, including the UK show that they're going to be doing. A few new signings WWE's made, and we've got some questions as well. So, as always, before we get into the wrestling talk, we'll kind of talk about what's been going on in the world of BrendenPlayz. We just recently had the King of the Ring pay-per-view that happened over last weekend, which is a reason why you haven't seen too many uploads from me. Obviously, I've been doing some schoolwork, but other than that, being a little bit kind of jaded. That pay-per-view really took a lot out of me. It was a very stressful pay-per-view because, again, my time management wasn't very good, so I was kind of rushing it and cramming it all in a lot of late nights, lots of bit of lack of sleep, I guess you could say, as well, trying to get the pay-per-view done and ready to go on time. We got it done on time, but it's just kind of really throwing my sleep pattern out and everything like that. Because I don't know if you guys realize that when I stream a pay-per-view live, I have to stay up till about 7 a.m. So I have to do an all-nighter and stay up till 7 a.m. And on what was actually Monday morning for me when I streamed the pay-per-view, I really struggled to stay up that late. I was a zombie. I was really, really tired, really struggling after basically doing the whole pay-per-view in a day. So it's been a really, I guess, stressful, week and a busy week. Lots of things I've been able to do, but I've had a few chances to unwind and things like that, and which has been good. So, so things aren't all that bad. I just kind of got a bit of work I've got to get done as well. So that's the plan. That's the plan at the moment. We just got to get the university work done, and now we can start to focus back on the Universe Mode videos. So I'm expecting the next video of Universe Mode to go up Friday night, Friday morning, I should say, for you guys. So I'll be back on Universe Mode very, very soon. So I think I just need a few days break as well from it as well. And I've been working on my second channel a lot. This week we hit 1,000 subscribers on my second channel. The second channel's been going for about 6 weeks, so that's a pretty good accomplishment in a short period of time. To hit 1,000 subscribers. I probably expected 1,000 subscribers on the channel after about maybe 2.5, 3 months. So we are ahead of schedule, so that's fantastic. So if you want to check out the second channel, make sure you head over to the description of this video, or of course you can check it out on my channel, BrendenPlayz, and it's on the side, or look up wrestling shoots on YouTube. So there you go. So that's has been going really well. So that's been my other real project I've been working on alongside Universe Mode. So I'm definitely working on that. So I'm kind of keeping myself busy, and as well as that, in the real world, I should say, thinking about maybe getting a real job as well. I'm thinking about maybe picking up a part-time job and doing YouTube as well in the mix. I don't think it really will affect my video, my uploading rate or anything like that. I think I'll still be able to upload daily and do everything I'm doing now, but as well as that, just kind of work, throughout a couple days a week and do something there just to kind of get myself some experience and get my foot in the door and prepare myself for the real world. So that's something I'm also thinking about doing as well. So that'll be interesting to see how I can manage and balance that, but hopefully not too bad. As you guys know, I'll be getting a real job soon, finishing college soonish. We've actually had a bit of a step back on that. I've actually found out that I need to do another semester of college. I I found out that I can get myself a marketing major as well. I'm very, very close to getting a marketing major as well as a sport management major. So I decided, you know what, screw it. Let's get another major. So we're going to be doing another semester, maybe even 2 semesters, because some of the courses that I have to do for my marketing major aren't available in the second half of the year. So, which is really stupid. That's so dumb. It means now that I might have to do an extra one as well. So getting a job will be really good because I've only got to take 3 classes. And 3 classes over the next year is just a joke. So I need a bit of a job to go with that. So that could be the plan. That could be the plan at the moment in the real world, but hopefully we'll keep the universe mode and all the content you see on BrendenPlayz keeping up, and of course on the second channel as well. Alright, so we'll move along from that and we'll get into this week's Raw discussion. As well as that, we're going to be talking about Backlash, like I said, as well. We get to Smackdown, so we're going to be previewing that one as well. But we'll start off with Monday Night Raw, which, like I said earlier, I thought Raw was a pretty good show. I enjoyed Raw. The big news from Raw is the Braun Strowman injury. Now, here's the thing. WWE are basically saying that Braun Strowman's going to be out for up to 6 months. Here's the real news. Last week we said Braun Strowman's going to be out for probably about 2 months. That's still the case. He hasn't gotten himself a new injury. He hasn't aggravated anything else. I know some dirt sheets have kind of fallen for it and they've reported it that he's going to be out for 6 months. But the real news that he's still going to be out for about 2 months. So it's very likely that Braun Strowman may even make an appearance at Extreme Rules. He may show up. Maybe he costs Roman Reigns the match or something like that. Or, you know, if not, at the latest, perhaps Great Balls of Fire. Still, by the way, shocking name. He may show up at that pay-per-view. So expect Strowman soon. We're not going to miss him for too long. And, you know, I don't think he's going to really matter that much. I'm a huge fan of Braun Strowman, actually. I think he's one of my favorites right now. He's really impressing me. You know, we've always talked about the comparisons. Baron Corbin's, you know, the SmackDown's Braun Strowman, I guess you could say. I think Braun Strowman has a much, much bigger future than Baron Corbin by far. And I think Strowman is really showing that. His work has been great. He's really stepped up to that main event role. And honestly, I would love to see him win the championship this year, the World Championship. I think that would be great. I'd love to see him beat Brock Lesnar. So hopefully he is back very, very soon. Expecting a few months out at the most, you know, probably 2 months or so. So it's not that bad, just a bit of a minor injury, thank God, because I'm really getting sick and tired of guys being out for, you know, 6+ months, you know. It's a long time. It's a long time, especially in the wrestling world. You know, you can really be forgotten in, you know, even 3 months. So Braun Strowman could be almost forgotten before he comes back. So it's a long time in the wrestling world. Like, you think about it, 2 weeks ago feels like forever in the wrestling world. So just think about a year or 6 months. It's a long, long time. So he'll be back soon anyways. And WWE's backup plan basically is an Extreme Rules 5-way match. Look, I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all. I think that's a good matchup. You know, 5 of the best. You know, let's see, we've got Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, and Bray Wyatt. So that's really the best 5 that Raw's got available in one match. Surely it's going to be good. The only concern is for Extreme Rules, they've basically thrown all their eggs in one basket. What more could they really do for that pay-per-view? You know, we're going to get into it in a moment's time, but the women's feud is really crap. You know, terrible. Ambrose and Miz, they had a good match on Raw, but we've kind of seen perhaps the best match the two are going to produce. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do any better at Extreme Rules. So they've kind of put everything in the one match up a little bit. So whilst we might get an epic 5-way match, it's going to be hard to do that, by the way. So we might get that match, but you know the rest of the card's going to suffer. It's going to be hard to do an epic 5-way match. I love multi-man matches. I think they're great. You know, that's that dynamic of so many guys in one ring. It's hard to kind of make it great. There's so many guys, so much action happening. But personally, I really like it. And, you know, you get to see the best of so many different guys and just always high action, you know, really fast-paced action, high intensity. It's really, really good. So, an Extreme Rules one as well. Tables, ladders, chairs, kendo sticks. Who knows? Plenty of stuff could happen and probably fighting in the crowd a little bit. I'd like to see him just do a bit of everything, you know. The only thing, I guess, the issue with Extreme, you know, not Extreme Rules matches, but triple threats, 4 ways, 5 ways, 6 ways. everyone just goes down and sleeps, half the match, and you have the action one-on-one basically in the ring for a lot of the time. I wouldn't mind if they had two guys fighting in the crowd, two guys in the ring, maybe one other guy's down after taking a big bump, something like that, and just kind of, go back and forth a little bit. It's hard to kind of follow the action, but, something different. Instead of, four guys are having a nap and, or three guys having a nap and two guys are standing. So, I don't know. We'll see. Sasha Banks had a match against Alicia Fox. I'll tell you what, I actually fast-forwarded. I skipped it, and because I thought, Sasha Banks is going to win this. What's the point? Sasha Banks is going to win in a squash match. Fast-forwarded to the end of the match, and there was Alicia Fox with her hands held high. She won. Alicia Fox, who's done absolutely nothing forever in the last couple of years, she gets these little pushes of, 1 or 2 month pushes. She might get a title shot, and then she loses, and then she's gone. Are we going to see that again? I don't know. Maybe this is just for something, for Fox to do. Maybe they're going to try and build a feud out of this. Maybe build a pay-per-view match between Sasha and Alicia Fox. But, look, Alicia Fox is not a bad talent. Compared to, the Sashas, the Alexa Blisses, the Charlottes, the Beckys, she's nowhere near on that quality. She's got this crazy gimmick, that's okay. But I wouldn't ever give her the championship, for example. But, look, building her a little bit and having her work with someone, at least it's a bit of variety. I guess they lost Emma, and maybe Emma was going to be in that position instead of Alicia Fox. So now that they've lost Emma, they probably have to find someone else, and that someone else at the moment is Alicia Fox to push in that position. So, fortunately, Sasha Banks takes the pin because of it. So, is it an Alicia Fox push, or is it a Sasha Banks demotion? Well, I'm starting to lean towards a Sasha Banks demotion. I think Sasha Banks has been very underwhelming, very disappointing since she's, probably been on the main roster. Since probably the Charlotte feud at least, she's really done nothing. And yeah, she's been disappointing. I think a heel turn needed to happen when Bayley was the champion. I would have had Sasha Banks turn on Bayley and do that rivalry and have Sasha Banks win the belt. But instead, of course, Alexa Bliss is the champ. And I've got nothing against Alexa Bliss. We're going to talk about her in a moment. I think she's great, but probably missed a little bit of an opportunity there. I mean, they still could go for it down the line, and maybe this is what they're setting up to. Sasha Banks starting to lose a little bit, getting a bit of frustration, takes it out on Bayley, who is trying to comfort her, and maybe Bayley wins back the championship and kind of rubs it in Sasha Banks' face, accidentally. Maybe that's where they go with it. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's not looking good for Sasha Banks. I've kind of cooled off on her as well. She needs something. She needs a change. And I think a heel turn, a lot of people always say, everyone always says heel turn them heel, that'll fix everything. But in this case, I think it will. The boss character that she has is a heel character. We saw the best of Sasha Banks in NXT as a heel. We haven't seen that on the main roster, so she's got that card to play up her sleeve. Yeah, she was a heel for a little bit, but not really. Not really a chance to shine on the main roster, so now she'll get that opportunity if she can turn heel. And maybe that's where they set up for it, maybe down the road, maybe even it's for a SummerSlam match, you never know. Intercontinental Championship match, not a lot really here to say. I thought it was great. A great match. Dean Ambrose, it felt as though he tried a little harder. That's just the impression I got. It just felt as though he gave it a little bit extra. He was trying harder, trying to make this good. Realized that the spotlight was on him a little bit, and they delivered. The Miz and Ambrose put on a really good match, so I really enjoyed that. And now moving on to the other women's rivalry, Alexa Bliss and Bayley. Again, not liking Bayley at all. If not, she's on my shit list. Bayley is on my shit list at the moment. I just cannot stand her. I gotta skip her promos. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch her talk. Her promos are just the same. I don't like it. And what they did, Alexa Bliss with the kendo stick, that's all well and good. But she hit Bayley once, and Bayley sold it like she, just fell off Hell in a Cell. She sold it like she just, got shot. One kendo stick shot. And to be honest, I feel as though if I got hit by a kendo stick in my back, it might sting for about 5 seconds, tops. It doesn't look like it really hurts that much, a kendo stick. A steel chair shot in your back, yeah, that might hurt. But a kendo stick really, it has a sound to it, in my opinion, that feels as though it wouldn't really hurt. I could be very wrong. I've never taken a kendo stick shot. I mean, who has? But it doesn't even really look like that it hurts that much. So for Bayley to almost be crying because she got hit in the back by a kendo stick is just ridiculous. Doesn't do her character any favors. Just makes her look even weaker. And makes Alexa Bliss look good, yeah. But just makes Bayley look even worse. And Bayley is just, she makes herself look worse every time she opens her mouth. And I just can't stand her. I just can't stand her character. I know a lot of people still like Bayley, but I don't. I never really have been on the Bayley bandwagon. Even in NXT, I thought she was okay. I never really understood the fascination for her. She was alright, but she was never really my favorite down there or anything like that. I always looked at perhaps Sasha Banks as the star there, or Becky Lynch, maybe even Charlotte at the time. But obviously now those three women, maybe you could say Becky Lynch is not, but certainly Charlotte is leaps and bounds above. Sasha Banks, I feel like she's a little bit, restricted and held back from her potential. Alexa Bliss is by far, one of the best, if not the best, in the WWE right now. She's awesome. I think everyone's starting to really see that Alexa Bliss is really awesome. She's fantastic. So, liking what she's doing, keep it up, Alexa. But Bayley, well, look, if she lost and she doesn't get a title match for another year, I wouldn't care. I mean, I'm kind of done with her. Moving along as well, we had the next thing that happened was, Goldust. Goldust turning heel on R-Truth. Now, I personally didn't expect it. I thought if they were going to do a heel turn, they might build it up a little bit longer, more losses, more frustration, but they just went, you know what, screw it, let's do it now. Now, look, where is this going to go? Probably not that far. Look, Goldust has turned heel a few times, over the last, here and there. But, look, he's up there in age. What is he, 48, 47, maybe even older, I'm not sure. Goldust is a legend, though, let's be honest. Goldust, Hall of Famer. I personally think so. I think he's had a great career. You got to remember, he was wrestling back in the 80s. He's been around for a long time. Long, long time. He's done a lot of things, a lot of different characters, a lot of reincarnations of himself. Another heel turn. So, is Goldust going to get a run at the championship? No, but I think it's just a bit of an undercard feud, giving Goldust and R-Truth something to do. They probably looked at the back and went, "Oh man, we've got Goldust and R-Truth, two really good guys, and we've got these guys in the back, good talents, still can go, and they're doing nothing. And probably there is no place for them in the tag division. But hey, they can have Goldust work a program, with an Apollo Crews, for example, just help him a little bit there, or some of the other undercard guys coming through, they can have him there. And the same likewise for R-Truth, they can have these guys working with some of their singles and do something there. So it's not a bad idea to kind of turn Goldust. And look, I like R-Truth, I still do, I think he's great. Goldust has always been great as well, so I like both of them. And hey, let's do something with him. R-Truth, I think he's 45, so he's still got a bit of, plenty of years still in him if he wants. He's probably still got another, 2 or 3 years. So he certainly could hang around. He's in phenomenal shape, still looks great, still can go. It looks like he hasn't missed a beat in the last 10 years, honestly. R-Truth, compare him now to, even 5-6 years ago when he was getting that title match against John Cena in that main event of, Capital Punishment. He looks, just looks the same. I wouldn't say he's slowing down or getting worse or anything like that. I think he's still good. So, honestly, I wouldn't perhaps push the guy for a title run, but certainly having worked with some of the singles guys, I think could be a good idea. They certainly have done everything they could probably do in the tag division anyways. A lot of people thinking Apollo Crews turned heel this week on Raw. I don't think he turned heel. They certainly didn't act like he did, but he obviously showed a bit of support to Titus O'Neil. So maybe, look, it's pretty obvious that's where they headed. I think Apollo Crews will have Titus O'Neil as his manager. And look, to be honest, I like the pairing. Honestly, if they joined up and became a tag team, I think that'd be good. Another tag team. And if not, they could be a team, but also kind of have Apollo Crews as a singles and Titus O'Neil as his manager as well. They could definitely do that. So I personally like the pairing. Look, the only thing is that Titus O'Neil is a monster of a man, and Apollo Crews is still a big guy, but Titus O'Neil, kind of dwarfs him a little bit, so that's the only real issue. But look, honestly, I like it. I really do. I think there's something there, so it's worth a try. You know, Apollo Crews lacks the personality. Titus O'Neil has personality, lacks in ring. He can mess up his promos a little bit, but he was okay. You know, he was okay this week on Raw, so I'm happy to give this one a bit of time and kind of, see where it goes. But that's Monday Night Raw. So I thought Raw this week was pretty good. But SmackDown this week, again, average, another average show. The best thing about SmackDown is it's only 2 hours. So, I was watching Raw, and, we had, I think maybe 1 hour after the show, I thought, man, this is a pretty good Raw so far. I mean, how much longer has it got left? And I looked at the clock, and it had 2 hours to go, and I went, wow. It's a good start to Raw. I was liking what they were doing. 2 hours to go. It's like, oh, shit, okay. What are they going to do the next 2 hours? It turned out to be okay in the end, but, SmackDown, the good thing going for it is if it's bad, it's not going to last that long. And, look, I'm going to say it again. I've been critical ever since it happened, but once again, Jinder Mahal. Once again, I really did not like his promo this week. I thought it was really bland, really boring, and, when your promos are worse than Randy Orton, that's a bit of an issue. He just hasn't got much energy in the way he's delivering his lines. Just the way he's saying it doesn't sound like he's believing it. I'm not believing it. It doesn't sound like he's passionate about what he's saying. It's just his delivery is just, bland and boring and a bit monotone. It's just not a lot there. This is Jinder's big moment. This is make or break for him, and he needs to deliver. And I just don't feel like he's, producing his best work. This may be his best work. I don't know, but I just didn't like the promo. I have not liked a promo that he's cut yet. Look, I listened to him on Talk Is Jericho this week. He sounds like a really humble dude. Sounds like a really good guy. So you kind of want him to succeed because he sounds like such a good guy. He's worked hard. He's He's had a bit of demons, a bit of lack of motivation, but he got himself in good shape, clean or not clean, who knows. But he's worked hard. He's been given an opportunity. So it's time to strike. If Jinder's going to make it, he needs to do it now. But still, again, I feel like it's too much too soon. Look, it's one thing to go from being a mid-card guy like a JBL, not really doing a lot, to a radical gimmick change, coming out, cutting a promo, talking about how you're a wrestling god and you get the belt pretty quickly. That's one thing. That look, that's a bit out there. That's a bit hard to believe, but you could still maybe see it. And the comparison is Jinder Mahal, who's gone from a job guy, getting beaten by absolutely everyone, and quickly, and getting dominated. The whole time he's been in WWE, he's been getting beaten up, destroyed by everyone, embarrassed. So he goes from that to getting all of a sudden 2 guys with him, gets an overnight victory, and now all of a sudden he can beat AJ Styles, he can beat Sami Zayn, he can beat all these guys all of a sudden. Yes, with a bit of help, but still. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm having a hard time dealing with it. I just hope he doesn't win the belt. I hope. Look, I'm all for Jinder Mahal getting a push. I'm all for someone new. Hey, Jinder's got a good look. And India has a market. And look, here's the thing about Jinder Mahal. He comes out and says, people, you guys hate India and this and this and this. Here's the thing. I don't hate India. Jinder's really given me no reason to hate him. The only reason for me to hate Jinder is because he's Indian. Well, I don't hate Indian people. Well, why would I? The only thing I hate about India is the fact that they beat Australia in the cricket a few months ago in test matches. That's the only thing I hate about India. I hate that we lost that test series. But other than that, India's fine. I've never been there. I probably never will go there. But, I've got no issue with India. So Jinder Mahal comes out and says, hey, I'm Indian, you should hate me. Well, that doesn't really work because I haven't got a problem with India. So why would I have a problem with you? So that's the thing. So his gimmick just doesn't, It's one thing to say, okay, for Muhammad Hassan, that's the kind of the comparison, the benchmark, I guess you could say, in my opinion. Muhammad Hassan, you played off the Muslim, the terrorist thing, and there was a lot of hatred in the world, and probably still is, for Muslims and terrorism and all that, especially, 2005. So that worked. But, is there a lot of hatred? Is there Americans coming out and protesting against India? I don't think so. I don't really think so. So I think Jinder Mahal, they probably should have went with the other way. I think even Jinder Mahal said, originally the plan was for him to come out and cut a promo, that he tried to be peaceful, he tried to, he was getting beat up all the time, he's trying to, it's not working for him, so he's going to make a bit of a change. That was the original promo, which is the promo that I wanted him to cut, which is the promo that I personally thought would work best for him in the long term. Instead, they've gone with the anti-USA thing again, something that Rusev's already been doing. And yes, it gets a bit of heat because it's just the generic heat. Oh, boo, USA. But is that going to really work long term for him? If you had a bitter guy, a guy who's pissed off, he's been treated like shit for years, people don't respect him, people don't care about him. You had a guy with a bit of a chip on his shoulder like that, showed some aggression in the ring, came out and just tried to make a statement, tried to beat his opponents, tried to beat some respect into his opponents. I think Jinder Mahal could have pulled that off and would have made more sense for his character and where he's positioned for all this time. Instead of going to the generic, I'm not from America, you need to hate me kind of crap. So that's my opinion. I just feel as though they've gone the wrong direction with his character. I could be very wrong. Jinder may win the belt at Backlash and then, become a fantastic heel, but personally, I don't see it happening. Another team that I thought has been struggling with their promos has been the Usos. I did not like the 12 days promo last week, but I thought this week a little bit better. They toned it down a little bit. They didn't keep repeating themselves 12 days. They didn't do that. It was a better promo this week. Still liking Breezango. I'm actually becoming a bit of a fan now. Look, it's not typically my type of team that I would personally enjoy, but I like the backstage segments. I'm liking that, and they're not so bad in the ring. Tyler Breeze is not a bad talent. Neither is Fandango. And Fandango's got the Fandangoing thing that was a thing 3-4 years ago. He's got that. The crowd can kind of bring that back a little bit if the team gets a bit of momentum. So they've got something there that the crowd can do to support them. So there is potential. And I don't think they'll win the tag team titles, but I think there's a potential that down the line they may. And I think the WWE needs to keep going with them. Don't give up on them, I should say, and show a bit of faith. Please. But that's SmackDown, and we'll move on with the SmackDown talk, and we'll shift into Backlash, which is coming up this Sunday, which will be headlined by Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal for the championship. We basically covered that a moment ago, but look, I think Randy's going to win. Look, Jinder Mahal's gotten the better of Randy Orton every week, all the time, so that generally means that Randy's going to win at the pay-per-view. That just seems the booking kind of way. They've really shoved Jinder Mahal. They've really shoved him down the throats. They've really tried to get this guy over. They've beaten AJ, beaten Sammy, beaten up Randy. They're trying their hardest, and I give them credit. They're trying their best, but I just feel as though it's too much too soon. Giving him the belt now, I think would be about. I can't see Jinder Mahal winning unless there's so much bullshit. You just couldn't see Randy Orton losing to him. And I still think Jinder Mahal needs a new finisher. I don't like his finisher. I don't believe that his finisher can beat a top guy like Randy Orton. I'm just not a fan. Just not a fan of it. I think he needs to go for more of a power move. If this is a big jacked up dude, I think a powerbomb or something like that would work better. But yeah, so look, Jinder's a chance. He's definitely a chance. You never know. WWE does these things where they just do a swerve But Randy, what was the point in him winning the belt? He's been a very lackluster champion. He's not even really closing out the shows every week either. He's kind of been in the middle of the SmackDown cards. So there's not a lot really going on for Randy, and this Jinder Mahal thing's not helping him, I don't think. So I still would like to see Randy and AJ at SummerSlam for the championship. So I'd hang on to that match, and I'd probably have Randy lose it then and give it back to AJ. They kind of gave away Randy and Baron Corbin this week as well. I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that was. I thought they were going to save that for a pay-per-view, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm going to go with Randy Orton winning and retaining, but the Singh brothers are going to try their best, but they might get thrown out by the referee. And when that happens, I think Jinder's going to be all alone, and the RKO will strike. Tag team match that we just said, tag match for the Smackdown titles, I should say. Usos and Breezango. I still think the Usos will win. I think the Usos have been a really good team. I'm enjoying them. The heel run's been good. Haven't liked their promos every week, but it's not too bad. Breezango are getting there, but again, you're giving the belts now. It'd be another case of just, swapping the champions over a little bit too much on SmackDown. So keep the Usos the championships, but keep building Breezango. We'll go back to the pre-show where we have Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English. Now, if you ask what culture, Aiden English is going to be world champion in the next 6 months. They kept saying that he's going to get a major push. I'm not seeing it. He's on the pre-show against Ty Dillinger, and surely Ty Dillinger wins. I mean, yes, it's possible that he loses and they just mess around with Ty. They haven't really done a lot with him yet. And what's the plan? Maybe they have him go up against Kevin Owens for the US belt. Maybe that's the plan. But there's not a lot going on there. Having him on the pre-show, a little bit disappointing. I personally probably would have put Luke Harper and Eric Rowan on the pre-show. So I guess we'll go to that match. Harper and Rowan, we've seen it a few weeks ago. Now we're seeing it again for some reason. The overall card is a few matches just slapped on it. Not a lot really there to it. Harper and Rowan has won. You'd think Luke Harper might win this one, but I think Harper won last time. I'm not even sure. I don't really remember it. So, look, I don't know what they're doing with both guys. I thought Harper for a while there was going to get a bit of a main event push and be a main event babyface and do something there. Eric Rowan, the jury's still out. Can he make it on his own? I don't know. Could Luke Harper even make it on his own? Both guys are a little bit unproven. Harper is obviously the better talent, but can either make it on their own. So this will be an important match for them to kind of impress and show us what they can do and see if they're worth sticking with as a singles. So I wouldn't mind seeing either kind of working a bit of a mid-card program and maybe around the championship. Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin 1-on-1. Again, not a lot of interest for this one for me. Sami Zayn is a guy I don't really care for. Neither is Baron Corbin, so I think Corbin will win. Sami Zayn's kind of like the babyface Dolph Ziggler now that Ziggler's obviously turned. So Ziggler needed a replacement, and Sami Zayn is that. He's the guy who loses to everyone. So I think Corbin will win, and maybe they probably have a rematch sometime down the line too. But so would have liked to see maybe a number one contenders match there or something like that, just to kind of give it a little bit more meaning to it. But so just a singles match there. I think Corbin will beat Zayn. We've got the welcoming committee, Natalya, Carmella, Tamina, up against Naomi, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. I think the welcoming committee wins. I think Charlotte turns on Naomi or even on Becky Lynch and goes back to being heel. I think the babyface run just doesn't suit Charlotte's character. It just doesn't suit. And I think, I like the welcoming committee. I think it's fine. But I think, there's going to be some dissension. I think Charlotte's, obviously, for her character to kind of ignore the championship and just focus on, these three is not, a little bit out there. I think Charlotte really should only focus on the belt. So I think at the end of the day, it may not happen at this pay-per-view, but it's going to happen soon where Charlotte will turn on Becky and Naomi and come after that championship again. Maybe they save it for a little bit further down the line and set it up for a SummerSlam matchup, but that's where I see it. But so I see the welcoming committee winning, probably pinning Naomi. It seems like she's the scapegoat right now. Got pinned by Carmella on SmackDown. Wouldn't shock me if maybe Tamina gets a win this time just to kind of boost her up a little bit. So we'll see. Shinsuke Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler. Well, if you look at the posters and all the adverts for Backlash, you'd think Nakamura and Ziggler's the main event. Certainly being hyped up a little bit like that with their promotional stuff. This should be really good. This could be one of the best matches of the night, of the last few months maybe. It's obviously two really good matches on the one show, so this is going to be one of them. Looking forward to it. Nakamura's big showcase, so they've also got massive plans for Nakamura. They've built a whole pay-per-view around the guy who hasn't even wrestled yet, and they're saving his debut for this big matchup. So obviously got big plans for Nakamura. We'll see how it goes. He's obviously going to win. Hopefully he has a good performance. and hopefully he kind of. I think he should just go straight in the main event. Honestly, put him right at the top. Not even worry about the US title. Just put him right up there. Maybe set up Nakamura and AJ, or Nakamura and Kevin Owens, or Nakamura and Randy. So, definitely beating Ziggler, though. And speaking of Kevin Owens and AJ, they're having a match 1-on-1 as well for the US title. This is the other match that I think could be really, really great. I think Kevin Owens is going to win. I think he's going to win by probably DQ or cheating somehow. Whether he uses the ropes for leverage, holds the tights, cheating some kind of way. Some kind of way where Kevin Owens escapes with the belt. I don't think AJ Styles as US champion is needed. I don't really think Kevin Owens as US champ is probably needed either. I'd probably have those guys available to win that WWE championship, and maybe have someone like Harper or Sami Zayn or Corbin holding the US title instead, working with some of the mid-card guys. Or maybe Ty Dillinger down the line too. So that's the thing with SmackDown. They've got some mid-card guys, but it feels like a lot of them are kind of above that US title. And, it would be nice to see them elevate a few other guys to kind of, mix in there, like a Mojo Rawley, I guess you could say, he's one. Mix a few more guys in with Mojo and that to kind of, boost that up a little bit. But I think Kevin Owens will win, and that is Backlash. So, probably, I'm looking forward to Nakamura and Ziggler, Owens and Styles, Randy and Jinder, just to see what the hell's going to happen, and to see if Jinder can have a good match. And even the women's match, I think, could be pretty fun. So, a few matches definitely looking forward to. There's a few matches that I, could skip if I wanted to. I'm not that keen on, but definitely a few matches there worth watching. That's for sure. Certainly Nakamura's debut is enough to watch for mine. Looking forward to that. Alright, so we're going to move along to a few other little things before we get to our questions this week, including WWE's UK Show. Jim Ross announced as one of the commentators alongside Nigel McGuinness for WWE's UK Show, which I think is going to air on Friday, so tomorrow at some point. Am I going to watch it? That's a big reason for the discussion. Am I interested in the UK product? Am I going to watch the UK product? I think I might watch the first one if I get some time. If I'm bored and I've got nothing else to watch, maybe I'll put it on. I watched probably 45% of the UK tournament. It was okay. Yeah, it was not bad at all. There's some guys there that were pretty decent. So I don't have a lot of interest in the UK guys yet. I haven't really been given a reason to. I could get there. So a lot of the guys have got pretty similar looks, pretty similar builds. Guys, 6 foot tall guys, 200 pounds. Not a lot of variation there, which I think could come back to haunt them. Seeing some different characters, some different gimmicks, some different looking guys. A bit of variety is always good. And I know a lot of people like to see, 6 foot tall, like Randy Orton said, the guys who do all the dives. That's the in thing right now. I've been reading all over Twitter this week. Who cares about wrestling psychology as long as it's entertaining? So that's a lot of fans' mindsets these days. Who cares about what happens as long as it's entertaining? So I don't know. It doesn't. I'm not really relating it to UK tournament, but so we may see a bit of flippy floppy stuff, and we'll see what goes on. But hopefully it's a sophisticated product. Look, the UK wrestling scene is certainly improving, and if you want to look at wrestling, where's the next wrestling, I guess, boom, I suppose, or where does wrestling have the most potential to grow? And it's definitely the UK at the moment. There's certainly potential there for that market to grow. So it's definitely a good idea for WWE to try and exploit that, get themselves in UK while they still can, and try and establish themselves there. Try and get all the best UK talent. Seems like that's what they're going to do, and see what they can do. Will it kind of transcend? Will a lot of American fans check it out? They might try the first episode, but I don't think they will. I just feel like it's more of a show for the UK fans, and that's what it's about. It's about giving the UK fans their own show, and I don't think a lot of Americans, or for myself personally, an Australian, are going to be all that interested in really checking it out. But you never know. Jim Ross on the call. That's going to be good. So, a little piece of news. A wrestling promotion called 5 Star Wrestling Is that the one that had the game, 5-star wrestling game? I think it could be. Well, here's the thing. Remember CM Punk? Remember that guy? Well, they've offered him $1 million to come return to wrestling and wrestle in their promotion. $1 million to come be a part of their tour. Now, how many dates, how many matches is that? I think it's a 128-man tournament or something like that I think they're holding. So that's obviously a good chunk of matches that we'd have to work right there. So there you go, $1 million to come back and probably have 7 or 8 matches or something like that. Jeez, I tell you what, if I'm CM Punk, I'm considering it. $1 million. Here's the thing: do they really have $1 million though? I don't believe that they actually have that money. They're not exactly a big company, and for them to say, "Hey, we'll give you $1 million," is that check gonna bounce? Maybe. But yeah, that's big money. Let's just say hypothetically they have $1 million and they will pay it. That's big money. And CM Punk, well, if he can get $1 million payday at this stage of the game, yes, he's probably worth $10 million as it is right now. He's got a UFC show I think he's doing, or an MMA show, whatever that he's doing. His UFC MMA career is done. He's not going to fight again. It's over. It's done. I don't think, yes, he could go work elsewhere, but I don't even think he will. I don't, spare himself some more embarrassment. He went and tried it. He got beat. I think he's perhaps content. We'll see. But hey, look, I'd be you go back and get $1 million, $1 million to wrestle some matches. That's tempting. But here's the thing. CM Punk doesn't seem like the guy he's going to get lured back by money. He's going to get lured back because he's got a passion and desire to go back and work and better a company or help a company. So them throwing him a lot of money may tempt him, but I still think, his overall, constraint would be passion. Does he have the passion, the desire to go back? Is he content where he's at in life? Does he want to wrestle again? Those are the things. Money would be great, but he's not really struggling for money. So if he was broke, well, I'm sure he would be there. But yeah, so look, $1 million, that's a good offer. That's a good offer. So kudos to them. If they got the money, that's a good offer. The other little piece of news, Eva Marie, the trailer for her new movie. I think it's called Inconceivable. I watched it, the trailer. It came out. She's got a decent role in it, actually. I thought she might just have, a scene or two, but she's got a bit of a role, according to the trailer anyway. She was in the trailer for about 30 seconds, so that's always a good sign. She gets killed. Spoiler. She gets killed in the trailer, so she doesn't last long, apparently. So the reason why I bring this up is that she will not be back for Total Divas. Her WWE career is all but done. I think it's, I think we all kind of knew this, but yeah, so her movie is coming out soon, so we'll see how she goes. We'll see if she can act. I think she's done another movie as well. She's done 2 movies, so this is the first one coming out. The other one probably coming out later in the year, maybe. So she's doing a few things outside of WWE. She hasn't got another movie, though, so that's my concern, that she's done 2 now that are in post-production. She hasn't started working on another one. Maybe she's got, maybe she's signed on to do another one. I'm not sure, but yeah, so we'll see how she goes. Look, Eva Marie is, 10 out of 10. She is smoking hot. You can say, oh, she can't wrestle, but I don't give a shit. She is stunning, and if she can act, she's got a place in Hollywood. She could, she could make it. I don't know if she's not going to be a star, but, she might, get a few gigs. She might, make a bit of a career out of it. So to go alongside her modeling and all that things, look, she could make a run of it. We've seen so many women leave WWE and try to get into acting and fail all the time. Eva Marie might be one that could be the exception, but, we'll have to see. I'm not going to say she's going to do it yet, but it has been an impressive start. She's got a couple of decent roles. So, we'll see how she goes. Last piece of news before we went into our questions this week. NXT has signed, WWE has signed a few new Japanese female wrestling stars to join, I would assume, NXT. Now, okay, how do we say these names? Is it Lo Shirai? who apparently is one of their biggest stars. I really don't know much about Japan in wrestling. So, and another one, Kari Hojo. So, the reason why I bring this up is, looks as though they're kind of trying to get a few more Japanese stars, whether it be male or female. They're trying to bring them in. They've obviously seen the success of Asuka, seen the success of Nakamura. Hideo Itami, he's been okay. We'll still, jury's still out. He hasn't quite hit the success as the other two yet. So they're seeing that there is potential, and people are opening up to some of the Japanese wrestlers. So obviously, they feel as though these are some good women, and they might be able to bring them in and try them and see how they go. So I think it's a good thing. There's a lot of great Japanese wrestlers out there. If we can get them over to WWE and make them successful and market them and have them as a success, fantastic. It's hard, though, because, the language barrier is so hard. Nakamura, as great as he is struggling with the language barrier still. So, that's the key issue. But we'll see how these two new women go. And obviously, it could be, I think Shirai, at least, could be one of those women that might just come up against Asuka when it's all said and done. Maybe even take the belt off her. You never know. But we'll move on to our questions this week. All right, first up comes from Tanzan Ahmed. WWE have been posting some of Shelton Benjamin's best WWE moments. Do you think he'll be in the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, maybe even in the match? Look, it's always possible. Look, I'd love to see Shelton back. I mean, he should have been back. Unfortunately, of course, injury stopped that from happening. So there is a possibility that he could return. I would personally love to see it. I think, if he can still go, another veteran working there would be good, a bit of a name, and someone who can work in that mid-card and kind of help some of the newer guys coming in. He's obviously not going to get much of a push or anything like that. He's going to be there to put some guys over. But, look, a Money in the Bank match would be great. That was obviously, kind of what made him famous a little bit there. So, definitely would love to see him in a Money in the Bank match again. Roy the Boy, do you think this is Brock Lesnar's last run with a world title? God, I hope so. I mean, his title run has been just terrible. He hasn't even done anything. I'm so sick of the champ not being there. Look, I dealt with it, a few years ago, and that was fine. We accepted it. But we didn't need to see it again, did we? Lesnar, does he really need the belt? Another one from Roy. He wants to know, Jinder Mahal or the Great Khali? Well, look, at least Jinder Mahal can walk. He can wrestle to a degree. He's not, Shawn Michaels, but he's definitely not as bad as Great Khali. His promos, at least he could speak English, and Khali couldn't do it. Look, Khali's got the wow factor, the giant about him. I think I saw Great Khali. Who was it? Great Khali versus... It might have been Jinder Mahal. Actually, I think it may have been Jinder Mahal versus Great Khali that I saw back. It might have been 2013. Is that possible? Great Khali versus... I don't know. It may not have been Jinder, but Great Khali versus someone. It might have been Heath Slater. So, yeah. So, I've seen Great Khali, and it's like, wow, this guy is freaking huge. So, that's the wow factor about him. But I guess Jinder Mahal... Look, at this incarnation of Jinder Mahal, I would definitely pick it over Khali. There's more value, more potential in Jinder Mahal. Not just the Indian market. Yes, Khali. Apparently Khali's, a megastar in India. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. But yeah, so I still think there's more potential for Jinder Mahal to kind of captivate every market rather than Khali, just the Indian market. Thomas Speller, I should say. Do you think all new WWE signees should go to NXT? Look, it's a bit of a case-by-case example. I mean, AJ Styles, a guy who's, nearly 40, who's TV ready. No, I wouldn't say that. I think even like a Bobby Roode probably didn't need to go to NXT. But someone like Nakamura, his time in NXT is probably pretty valuable, working in the US, kind of learning the language, learning the culture a bit. I think that's valuable without being thrown up there. You look at Roderick Strong, he's worked obviously Ring of Honor for a while, but getting used to the WWE and kind of getting himself over. The thing is, NXT is a place, it needs to be thought of as well as like, Ohio Valley, OVW, Smoky Mountain, all these territories over the years where a wrestler will go there, they'll find a gimmick, they'll work on it, they'll get it over, they'll fine-tune it, and get them ready for TV. NXT, unfortunately, because it's televised, it's not quite that. People see it as a brand, and it is in a way, and it certainly is, and some people see it as a demotion as well. But at the end of the day, it's developmental. It's about developing a character, developing a wrestler, developing their promos, everything. So it's about developing. So if someone needs development, send them down there. Finn Balor, you might think, well, hey, why is this guy developmental? He's, so good. I still think, sending him down there, working on TV in America, getting used to that, because there is a WWE style. There is working shows, and then there's working TV, and you kind of need to learn. You need to learn both. You need to learn how to work TV, and NXT is going to help that. And obviously, throwing him up right at the top is going to be tough. Look, AJ Styles. If you work TNA for 10 years plus, like AJ did, I probably wouldn't have put you in NXT. Austin Aries probably didn't need to go. Bobby Roode probably didn't need to go. Eric Young, he's one guy I probably would have put down there because I would have just liked to have found something for him to be a character like Sanity and him kind of work with some guys. It just depends on the role. Like if they're a veteran and you want him to work with their younger guys, fair enough. If you see him as money and you want him to be a top guy like AJ, you bring him on the main roster. That's probably how they saw it, and I guess that's the way it is. Roy the Boy, do you think Kane should have retired after the Seth Rollins feud? Kane basically is retired. He's running for mayor. He's focused on that. Hasn't wrestled on TV for a while. He probably won't be back this year, and if he is, maybe late this year. I think his days are numbered. I think he would like just to kind of work when he wants to and do what he wants, and that's fair enough. I think he'll probably retire within the next year or so and focus on a political career. Certainly if he gets the mayor job, I think he's done. I think he might come back for a run and call it quits, and that's fine. So, no, I don't think he probably should have retired. I mean, look, Kane still has some value of working with some young guys, probably providing that knowledge. And he's a big guy, so he's obviously going to have value because of that size. So, no, I probably wouldn't have retired him, but it's up to him. He can retire when he wants. Same with the Big Show, same with Henry. Last one, and it's again from Roy. Thanks to Roy for sending us some great questions this week. Always does, all the time. Normally he sends them in a little bit, like when I finish wrapping up my show, then he sends in a lot of questions. So this week I got him. This week I got his questions. Do you think it's absurd that Roman Reigns has main evented 3 back-to-back WrestleManias? No, I don't. Was it absurd that John Cena was doing that all the time? Cena was always the main event? No, he's their top guy. Roman Reigns at the moment is, if not their top guy, at least in their eyes, he is number one. If it's not John Cena, it's Roman Reigns. So you want your top guy a part of your biggest show and the main focal point of your biggest show. So whether you like Roman Reigns or not, he's their top guy, and your top guy works your main events. So I don't think it's absurd at all. I think the Lesnar match was good. I really enjoyed that. The Triple H match, not so good. And Reigns and Undertaker probably was never going to be main event. Probably a bit of a late change now that we know what happened to The Undertaker. So he was probably a little fortunate to main event WrestleMania this year. So that was an okay match as well, nothing special. So so he's had one good matchup and a couple of bad ones. So maybe I can see why you probably think it's absurd. But look, he's the top guy. Top guy works, biggest match. Well, that's all we have time for, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's edition of the show. A little bit shorter than normal, but perhaps we got a full show anyways. We went longer than probably what I thought. So thank you very much for listening in. If you want to send a question, please do so. The more questions, the better. Send them in. You can do so in the comment section down below or over the Facebook page. BrendenPlayz is the Facebook name. And, of course, check out the website and the forums, BrendenPlayz.com/forums. Discuss all the latest in wrestling and be there for Backlash Live. Over the weekend, we'll be talking Backlash on the forums live on our Discord chat. So we have a new Discord chat for the forums. So if you want to get on that, you need to go to the forums, BrendenPlayz.com, and sign up and join today and be a part of the Discord. Plenty of fun to be had there. We have some good chats on the Discord. So check that one out. And if you haven't already, check out King of the Ring and check out the second channel as well. Links in the description down below. Follow me on Twitter at BrendenPlayz as well. More followers, the better. So keep the support coming, guys. Appreciate it. And once again, if you did come to the King of the Ring stream on the weekend, last weekend, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And I'm rambling on, so thank you very much for listening in. And I'll see you next Thursday.